So the city girl mayor situation in the city of Dolton, Illinois is getting worse. And when I say worse, much worse. And I'll explain that in a minute. Right now, the Dolton trustee board is having meetings by themselves because either the mayor will not let them do it in the General Assembly, or she keeps canceling meetings, or nothing on the agenda gets talked about. And the city is in great ruin. Now, we already know that the city of Dolton has about $7 million of debt that has not been paid. They also have vendors for the last 18 months that have not been paid. But I want to talk about something that's even more scary, okay? And that is Chicago has a migration crisis in Cook County. Now, Dolton is not necessarily Chicago, Illinois. However, it is in Cook County from what I understand. So they're also being affected too, because Dolton is like maybe 10 miles from there. All right. I want you to hear what problems that the mayor has caused with immigration in the city because of the lack of budget. Let's check it out.
As everyone knows and has seen what's going on with migrants coming to different communities and kind of like taking over in so many words. Right now, I just feel that the village of Dolton, we don't have the resources for the migrants, we don't have the locations, and we definitely don't have the public safety as reference to police to man type of individuals that may come in, not to stereotype anyone, but individuals that may come in and we can't control the narrative or the situation. With the unscheduled buses, as other South suburban communities have done, they were giving the buses fines if they were dropping them off or making them leave. Now, I don't know, and I guess that's why it's for discussion, because we would have to look into how are they fined, what the fine is, and if a bus does come to drop off, do a drop off, how do we regulate them leaving with just by our ordinances. So it has been it's through a lot of different communities. We just don't have the resources. I know a lot of people, they need homes, they need shelter, they need things that some of us need also. Yeah. But we don't have the resources as a community right now, especially with our financial situation also. They'll put that burden on the community. So if we can just start implementing some type of regulations to stop the buses, then we can start putting in place so we don't have more squatters than we already have in those type of issues.
Now, this is a big problem all over the nation, but especially in Chicago. You have people that are literally in Dolton, Illinois right now with on the street, people with no shelter, and that's affecting the city's crime. They're afraid right now because they don't have the resources and the police force to handle the crimes that may be occurring. And all at the same time, listen to this. The mayor is going to the White House, spending money, going on trips, spending money, not receiving reports. They haven't received any financial files from all of this. But check this out. Brandon Johnson over in the city of Chicago, I believe it's like Tiffany Henyard's baby brother almost. But I want you to hear what's going on with, African Americans in Chicago. It's the same thing that we talked about here in Dolton. Listen to this clip.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, who we fought on some fronts together, and all those fronts we fought on together when I was with SEIU or anything else out there in the street, Brother Brandon, you have always been on the right side of history. That's why I campaigned for you, and that's why I voted for you. That's why I encouraged others to vote for you, because I knew and I felt in my heart you would be on the right side of history. And that meant including your people, descendants of enslaved Africans. Brother, you got to stop the buses from coming in. You just got to stop the buses coming in because it's hurting your people. I'm talking about descendants of enslaved Africans. We're hurting the things that our people been on the waiting list come for. The immigrants are coming in, getting everything, and I don't have time to go into all of it.
So let me just deal with something else, okay? Now also, the city attorney has not been paid. Here is an ex-trustee who's gonna spill the beans on some of the lies that the mayor consistently is using.
I want residents to know that every board meeting she puts out on the agenda, the trustees want to pay the attorney. She hasn't paid them in almost 2 years. Right. So every time she says that, this is the bold-faced lie that she's saying we want to pay the attorney when she's not paying them. That's another mischievous, misleading thing that she does. Also, some of these vendors still haven't been paid, or they
Correct.
still emailing.
Correct.
So there's things that's been voted to pay, and they still haven't been paid. And then she's putting more stuff on the agenda to be paid and keep paying. And in every board meeting, she's saying they're not paying, they're not making progress. That's the narrative she tries to spin by canceling every board meeting. The second board meeting, have one board meeting, and then she puts more stuff on that we don't have the money, and then paints the narrative that you're trying to stop progress, and that's not the truth.
Correct.
So that's another person.
And I received another email yesterday from another vendor that has not received payment. I will say every time I receive an email from a vendor that has not been paid, I forward that to the finance department, the village administrator, the mayor, the finance chair, and the attorneys, indicating the month that it was approved by the board, and that the board expects that to be paid. And I ask for follow-up.
Now, guys, let me kind of talk about this a little bit. Now, this problem is bigger than we think, because with the $7 million out of the budget and with the migrants coming into the city. Now, of course, we're not trying to, like the lady said, I believe Miss Belcher or Mrs. Belcher, we're not pointing at any one immigrant from one country. But we know that we have mass migration coming into Dolton. Some of these people, and with Dolton not having resources, not having the shelter, and with the mayor putting the city into more debt, or the township into more debt, what do you expect can happen? All right. Would you expect that crime could go up? We're not saying that it will go up, but it is a strong possibility it can go up, especially when you don't have things like the police department, situations like that. Here's what we got to understand, all right, in black politics. And, you know, I used to always feel like, as a black person, what do I owe the community? What have they done for me? I used to have that mentality. But you know what? As I've gotten older, it's changed. Frankly, we do have some level of ownership to our people and our group, especially those who embark upon the opportunity to be in public office. Nobody asks you to be in public office, first and foremost, okay? Let's get that straight. Nobody asked you. You decided to do it. You promised the people you were going to do X, Y, and Z for them. So then when you don't and you get mad, you want to be unaccountable. And see, the thing is, if you're not going to do something, just sit your ass down. All right? Let somebody else do it. We have so many people, like Tiffany Henyard was a trustee. She used to be on the previous mayor for what he wasn't doing, only for her to get into the office and not do anything her goddamn self. And this is what happens. A lot of us as blacks, we have to stop allowing these people, okay, to just come in, do whatever they want to do, not have any accountability for what they're doing, and expect things to get better. We got to start to do that, family. These people can't just come in there and just start doing whatever they want to do. It doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. All right, it really doesn't. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for you do subscribe to the bell. We're out.